Determine the shape of her eyes. For this client, her eyes are almond shape. She does have a little overlid, so we won't be doing anything overly dramatic. For the mapping, we're going to get the client to look at me, my nose. That way we can see where the center of her eye is. Mark the outer area of the iris and the corner. Connect the two dots. I don't want to go as far as the corner. I want to stop the liner before it goes too low, because that would cause the eye to look droopy. Now we can fill in the lash enhancement, the lash line, and connect it to the wing. Avoid shading to line with pencil, and do not go over the middle of the eye. I'm using a brown pencil by Annabelle Cole for eyeshadow part, and Black Gel Pen Pilot brand. This is the Annabelle Cole eyeliner. As you can see, I'm filling in the lash line, which is called the lash enhancement. I'm using a brush to spread the pencil and make it soft and light. I want to adjust the tail direction by cleaning her tail from the bottom and lifting it a little bit to bring her eyes out more. To balance her eyes, I want to add a little bit of darker shading at the outer edge to make sure you're following the mapping. Enhance your pre-drawing with a white pencil. White pencil will not get smudged during the numbing process as much as a gel pen would. Another option for beginners is to make sure the mapping is visible and not lost. Use a blue marker by adding dots along the white. This helps the mapping be visible after the numbing has been applied. And now we're going to follow the line from the bottom procedure. Before the numbing, we're going to create our guideline using lighter strokes following the pen guide. We do want it light but visible line to follow. Basically, just stretch the skin. Apply the numbing and wait for 20 minutes. Remove the numbing by applying a Kleenex and lightly tapping in one direction. You don't want to press too hard as it could smudge the guide. For the shadow shading, I'm going to use black and brick mixed together in proportions of 1:1. Stretching is a must to 3 points. Index finger and thumb stretching to the sides, and pinky on my right hand stretching down. I'm starting the shading in the top line that we have created to create my guideline. Closer to the tail, I'm using strokes in the same direction as the angle of the wing, building crisscross sections. Before we go over the whole eye, we can check to see how everything looks, as well to check how her skin responds to the pigment. Here we can see that her skin has taken the pigment quite well. This check lets us check our pressure also. Always stretch the area you're working on. I'm going to start to fill in the lash enhancement. I also use a shading technique, but here I'm doing shorter strokes and using only the black color. Our black color is more of a black brown to make sure that it is softer and not as saturated, not as dark. The most important thing to remember is to keep the 90-degree angle to the surface you're working on. When doing the lash enhancement, usually doesn't have a flat surface. The surface could be swollen, rounded. Adjust the angle that you're working to keep that 90 degrees towards a specific area you're working on. So from this angle, I have to move, just filling in a small area. Make sure to also stretch the area as flat as drum. I'm just extending the shading to give a few dots on the top of the main shading to create an ombre look. Continue filling in the lash enhancement along the lash line. And remember to always keep the 90-degree angle while stretching. Now I'm fixing up the tail and the shading above it. Here's the gorgeous result of the velvet shading eyeliner.